modern human think you smart. You watch stock market go up and down, you panic, you celebrate, you panic again. But the real ruler of your world, it's not stocks, not crypto, not gold, it's bonds, yes, bonds. The thing your grandpa mentioned once before falling asleep in his chair. A boring name, massive power. Bond market is the quiet elder sitting behind all other markets, slow, silent, and secretly pulling every financial string like cave spider god. So what is a bond? You want to start mammoth burger business, big dream, small wallet. You go to neighbor, you give me 100 coins now, I give you 105 later. That extra 5 is interest, payment for trusting you not to burn down cave. Congratulations, you just invented a bond. A bond is a promise. A fancy IOU with paperwork and deadlines. One side borrows, the other lends. But governments and companies borrow from everyone at once by selling these promises to the public. The borrower is called the issuer. The buyer is the investor. Buy a bond, and you become lender to giants, a mini banker with better hair. Why bother? Because borrowing builds the world. Governments raise money to build roads, armies, and airports. Companies borrow to make phones, rockets, or suspiciously strong coffee. Nobody ever has enough cash to do big things outright, so they issue bonds. The bond market is the backbone of money. It decides how expensive it is to dream. When borrowing is cheap, the world grows. When it's costly, the world naps. Bonds are the oxygen of the economy. Invisible but vital. If they vanished, every market would choke. Boring name, mighty beast, like turtle carrying whole world on its shell. Now that you know what a bond is, Gurucha show where it comes from. Inside the giant tribe called government, you think government rich. Ha! It's giant mammoth with endless appetite and tiny wallet. Every day it shouts, let's build bridges, let's fund hospitals. Let's buy flying metal birds. People clap until someone asks, who pay? Then comes the ritual, the bond auction. Government waves hand. We need money. Banks, pension funds, and even other governments line up like it's buffet night. They hand over cash and receive bonds, promises of repayment with interest. No drums, no dancing, just screens and caffeine. Investors trust these promises because government bonds are seen as safe. Why safe? Because if a government can tax, it can always get more money, even if it means reaching into your pocket. Comforting, yes? When governments borrow, money doesn't just move. It multiplies. Projects begin. People get paid, spending grows, and taxes come back around. The system feeds itself, a beautiful, terrifying loop. That's why bonds are the bloodstream of civilization. And when the flow is smooth, everything thrives. When it clogs, everyone screams recession. So next time you hear bond issuance, don't yawn. It's not paperwork. It's the ritual that keeps the lights on, the roads paved, and the politicians smiling for photo with shovel. Bond not sexy, but without it, whole tribe walk to work in dark. These little promises don't just sit there, they move. And on every move shakes the planet. Each bond pays interest. The rent for using someone else's money, but that rent changes like weather, called the interest rate. When rates are low, borrowing is cheap. Governments borrow more, companies expand. Humans buy houses they can't afford and call it investment. Money flows, everyone feels rich. Everyone forgets math. When rates rise, the party ends. Borrowing becomes heavy stone. Projects slow, markets panic, and dreams deflate. Who decides these rates? Not just bankers. The bond market gods. Investors buy and sell based on what they expect. Growth, inflation, chaos, maybe alien invasion. If they fear risk, they demand higher interest. When that happens, bond prices fall and yields rise. Rule of the cave, price down, yield up, yield down. This eternal seesaw decides everything from your mortgage to your student loan. When yields climb, the whole economy slows. When they fall, everyone sprints until inflation bites their feet. Bonds, a thermostat of global economy. Too cold, tribe freeze. Too hot, tribe burn. Interest rates aren't numbers. They're the temperature of your financial universe. Bond not weather forecast, but it decide if tribe feast or famine. Now tribe, behold the endless battle for your money. Bonds versus stocks. A bond is the calm hunter. Lend me money. I pay you steady interest, no drama. A stock is the wild one. Buy me, may be rich tomorrow, may be broke by sunset. When you buy a stock, you own tiny slice of a company, like claiming one feather from eagle and yelling, "Me eagle too." If company flies, your feather glows. If it crashes, you fall too. Bonds are simpler. You lend, you get repaid. No cliff diving, fewer surprises. Here's where fight begins. When bond yields rise, bonds suddenly look shiny. Why risk wild stocks when safe bonds pay enough? Investors shift their gold to safety. The difference between what stocks might earn and what bonds promise is the risk premium. But when yields rise, that gap shrinks. Stocks lose charm. And when yields fall, money floods back into market, and everyone forgets fear again. This back and forth is the economy's heartbeat. Too much fear. Bonds win, markets nap. Too much greed. Stocks win, markets roar. Smart tribes know both matter. Bonds give stability. Stocks give growth. One is the anchor, the other the sail. But remember, the bond market is older, bigger, quieter. When it moves, everything else adjusts. Stocks make stories. Bonds make rules. Mountain silent, squirrel noisy. But mountain decide weather. Behind every shiny coin, every loud market, every politician's promise sits a bond, quietly whispering, "I own you." Bonds aren't numbers on screen. They're the skeleton of civilization. Without them, no roads, no armies, no businesses, no coffee for Gurucha. A bond is written trust. I believe in your future enough to lend you my present. Multiply that by millions of investors, and you get a living, breathing economy. But faith is fragile. When bond investors lose confidence, everything shakes. If yields rise too fast, borrowing gets expensive, governments panic, companies freeze projects, and tribes start saying scary word, recession. If yields calm down, the flow returns. Jobs, spending, optimism, and everyone pretends they always understood economics. And the bond market never shouts, it just raises one eyebrow. And the entire world obeys. Even the stock market, loud like teenager with new drum, watches bonds before moving. Because bonds decide the price of money itself, and money is air, invisible, necessary, easily polluted. So next time someone brags, "I time the market," just smile. Real power doesn't brag. It sits quietly in the bond market, sipping confidence like warm soup. Bonds are the elders of finance, patient, dull-looking, but every nod they give shapes destiny. Stocks may party loud, but bonds write the laws that decide who cleans up after. So yes, tribe, bonds aren't exciting, but neither is oxygen. You still need it every day. Remember this wisdom. Who controls debt controls destiny, and the bond market, it already owns the future. Fire friends, you survive lesson. If brains still work, hit shiny subscribe button. Gurucha makes more soon. Gurucha vanish now.